Can you believe in your hardest heart that some shit just happened, such as this?
Welcome to Superhouse, your podcast for all things Batman, as for now at least. But today, I am once again the man who knows too much about Batman. This is Ben Wan, and...
Indeed, it is I, Andrew, and I'm here once again to discuss the Bat with thee.
with me, yes. So today, we've been going over the Batman Beyond Return of the Joker. We've been going over Mystery of the Batwoman. And we have now skipped to 2016's Batman Return of the Caped Crusaders. Why? Because it's our damn podcast and we get to do whatever the fuck we want.
We'll get to Nolan Trilogy eventually, everybody.
Everyone's just like, when does Batman begin?
We like procrastinating. There's so much that happened in the Great Bat Hiatus.
Exactly. So this is not what happened to Batman.
This is after the whole Nolan Trilogy.
After the whole Nolan Trilogy anyways, because there's a reference
Actually,
to
you
it.
set the schedule. What the hell happened here? I mean...
Okay, so some explanation, though. First off, when we first started this, it started in the 89 era of Batman.
Yeah.
We hadn't really gone to anything that happened beforehand. Of course, there was a lot that happened beforehand,
right.
Mainly with Adam West. We hadn't really done any episode on Adam West. The closest that we had gone to that was when we went to visit the exhibit about Batman 66.
Yeah.
So it was good to revisit Adam West, and I wanted to do something that was a little different than just the 66 movie, which everyone has seen.
Right.
We also are doing something a little special in February, which I dub Two-Face February, because that's going to be February of 2020. I couldn't pass up the chance to cover Batman vs. Two-Face, which is the final animated movie, or final movie, at least, where Adam West played Batman.
Right.
Or acted at all.
Right.
But the movie that came before that was Return of the Caped Crusaders, so I figured we might as well end the year off, at least when it comes to Batman deep dive movies, on this movie. So this was the second to last performance of Adam West, and it features Burt Ward once again as Robin and Julie Newmar as Catwoman, and everyone else is being impersonated by other actors because everyone else is dead. Sadly.
Right. Sadly.
It's
amazing that all of them were alive at that point.
I know, yeah, exactly. You know? Julie Newmar, this is technically her first Batman movie because she wasn't in the 66 one.
Okay, yeah.
So we got a lot of different impersonators. We got Jeff Bergman as Joker, William Sayers as Penguin, and then Wally Wingert is Riddler, which is cool because Wally Wingert is the voice of Riddler in the Arkham games.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So he's impersonating Frank Gorshin here, so he's playing more than one version of Riddler now.
Oh, he's done. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
he's got more of like the smart-ass, way more of a smart-ass thing in the Arkham games.
Exactly, yeah. So here he's just trying to channel Frank Gorshin. And let's see, we got Steven Weber as Alfred, who I think he's a very underrated American actor putting on a British accent. He was the one who was reading Stephen King's It when I was doing 45 hours of It on Audible.
In his regular American accent.
Yeah,
regular for him.
Well, yes, but also he has to take on different voices because at one point he plays Richard Tozier, who's famous for doing a lot of voices and takes on different characters. So he's just absolutely amazing. So I'm glad he got to play a part in this. But
if you're British out there, let us know how his British accent was.
Yes,
because to us it sounds pretty good.
It's felt pretty good. Well, also Ephraim Zimbalist Jr. in the animated series isn't British either.
Okay. Oh yeah. Okay.
He's American.
For sure.
Yeah. So
I would like to get some feedback from the fans out there about that. By the way, Wolfie is out. He's absent from class today.
So
he had work. So yeah, there we go.
But he can check this out. You guys can check out this movie on Amazon Prime. But let's get right to it in terms of you hadn't seen this before.
No.
As per usual with the animated
I've
movie.
seen a lot, but not there's just so many Batman animated movies, you know?
Which is why it's fun to do these so that we can like talk over and you're going through the lens of having just seen it.
Yeah.
So what did you think of this?
So the first half was like pretty much normal, I'd say.
Yeah.
But like spoilers everybody, but once it starts getting to Bat clone territory, and that's when the humor also really ramps up. Mm-hmm. Like before that, it was just like, all right, it's like a C, and then it's like moves into like B plus A minus territory. Yeah, exactly. For sure. So I really enjoyed it. This is one of the better ones that we've watched.
Absolutely, I think it's way better than Mystery of the Batwoman.
That one's just like that one could have been a lot better. This one, like, I really appreciate humor, and so like to see something that is like straight up a comedy and really
right, yeah.
I should have expected that with it being Batman 66, but it was just that style of humor is very unique too.
Right, and it's like it's still got to be funny.
Yeah. The jokes have to land.
Just like camp for the sake of camp.
Right.
Which is kind of how it maybe felt in the first few minutes or so, but then once it gets further and further and getting more ridiculous, now we got bat rockets, we got clones, we got a lot of like weird in-jokes into the previous version, the other versions of Batman that came after Adam West.
Yes.
Because the cool thing about this movie, which I love because it's also one of my favorites in terms of animated, it's definitely underrated, which is why I wanted to cover this one, is that it's like, what if Adam West played a darker version of Batman? Like the cliche, not necessarily the cliche, but the one that like is formed in fans' heads. The sort of Zack Snyder-ish Batman who's like super harsh and brutal and everything, and how that doesn't really fit this version.
Right,
but you get to hear Adam West do the fun of that type of version.
Right.
So that's one of the things I love about this.
Yeah, I thought it was incredible, man. I mean, as soon as the clone started popping up, it just really ramps up. It's like that's when the movie really hits. So if you are, I wouldn't say bored, but it's not like your favorite thing up until that point, just wait for that to kick, and then it's like it's really fun throughout the whole thing. And it kind of made me think of like, I know this is mainly about the show, and the show wasn't really super based on the comics, but it kind of reminded me of maybe like Silver Age zany Batman, or
of course,
like that era of comics that were just zany for zany's sake, right? Am I anywhere near?
Yeah, like the 1950s and 60s where there was just there was the zebra Batman.
The
rainbow suits he would have to wear. The 50s and 60s of just like, let's just throw anything that looks cool on a cover that makes you want to buy it.
There's a place for that, I think, and I like seeing that kind of stuff. It makes it fun, Yeah,
it's perfect. The Silver Age magic to this, which is what it was trying to capture. And this is almost like, what if 66, this TV show, had more of a budget?
Oh, right. Yes, for sure.
It's what it kind of feels like. Even it's animated, but like you couldn't do this in the old show at all.
I mean, they're going into space and all kinds of shit, I mean, I know they made Moonraker and shit back in the day, and of course Star Trek and everything, but it's still like, I don't know. Yeah, the budget.
They wouldn't have done it. They wouldn't have done
that.
Let's see. I think there's an amazing amount of Easter eggs in this.
Yes.
For a Batman fan, there's the entire credits is a treat because you get to see the 66 cast sort of reenact all the different famous comic book covers of the first appearance of Batman, first appearance of Robin, different famous covers of all the other villains when they show up. I love seeing I forgot about it until we rewatched it, but the old bat suits in the back are the 1940s serials bat suits. They're just colored, but they're the 1940 serials bat suits. Which
Did it have the purple gloves in there?
No, I think they threw that in just as a reference to the Bill Finger Batman design.
Right.
But it does make me wonder. I'm just like, well, does that mean that the 40 serials are actually the prequel to the 60s show? Because it kind of still works based on what I remember of the serials.
They could just play with that timeline. I mean, like, why not? Like, that's like a Grant Morrison thing. Where it's all true.
It's everything. Everything is
canon.
Everything
is canon. Exactly. We're gonna make it work. You know.
Just a little.
I love Grant Morrison, man.
Me too.
So good. So good.
When we do a deep dive into Batman's training, my take on it is going to be a Grant Morrison style. Everything that you've seen of Batman's training is canon.
Oh,
no matter how ridiculous it is.
That's a good take. Yeah.
And that's how I'll introduce all the different takes on training, because there's different continuity of different ways that he learned things, as well as like adaptations, and Lego Batman has his own training thing. It's all ridiculous.
What, really?
Yeah.
All right.
So,
okay.
not the Will Arnett version, but there's a series of Lego Batman movies that were directed DVD beforehand. That came out. So that has one where he went to the same training school as Deathstroke, and so Deathstroke was like a former like classmates who hated him type of thing. So
are those any good at all?
They're funny too, like these.
Okay,
we'll check them out in a future deep dive. Okay,
but they're not like the exact style of humor that the Lego Batman movie is.
No, it's not quite the same.
Okay, because that's a very particular writing team.
Yeah, there's a
doing
different
that movie.
Yeah, there's a different type of style of humor.
Yeah.
It's a different Batman voice. It's a different type of way to do it.
By the way, the Playmobil movie comes out this weekend, and it has a whopping 23% on Rotten Tomatoes.
So you're saying I should see it?
Yeah, go ahead. Have a good old time.
23% of me will like it.
Yeah, probably a lot less.
Even less.
It's like Playmobil. You're sucking in the theater like you sucked at making toys. Compared to Lego.
Yeah, sounds like it. Jesus. The 1940 serials were partially responsible for the 60s show being made because it was kind of a slightly urban legend, but a fact that people love to talk about, which is that Hugh Hefner did a screening of the serials.
I heard the whole show was pitched at the Playboy Mansion.
Yeah. It was Playboy originally. Mansion. He said it's going to be an evening with Batman and Robin, and he showed these 1940 serials.
Okay.
And there was an exec there who was just like seeing how everybody was eating this up, and he's like, we got to make a TV show out of this.
Okay.
So Hugh Hefner is partially responsible for us getting the Batman series.
Yeah, the 66 show, correct?
In fact, there was an interview where, the 66 show. Yeah. There was an interview where he said Batman was his favorite superhero.
Yeah.
Which is interesting because Hugh Hefner would then go on, he would grow up with Batman comics and then he would go on to live in this huge mansion known as a billionaire playboy. And there's even some old illustrations from the Bill Finger era where Bruce Wayne was just lounging around in his manor with a red robe.
Oh, yeah,
on.
For sure.
So,
for sure. Hefner had taste, I guess.
It's a possibility that Batman is the reason why we have Playboy, too. If you think about it.
The origin. I don't know, man. I think that's a stretch a little bit.
Hefner is a huge... I'm just saying, he patterned a lot of shit off of this.
Hefner probably at least channeled some Bruce Wayne when he's walking around his man.
Yeah.
Back
that's
in the
what
day.
I'm saying with the whole red stuff.
He had it in his mind at least.
Red robe,
Yeah.
He had to have. And he had probably some secret-ass room or
Any
something.
rich dude with a robe walking around probably at this point has fucking channeled Bruce Wayne. Yeah. Yeah.
Exactly. So let's see. Other Easter eggs. There is when Batman gets knocked over the head. Yeah. He sees three, I think he's knocked over the head, or so. He sees three Catwomen. So it's the three Catwomen from the '66 era. It's supposed to be Lee Merriweather and Eartha Kitt, along with Julie Newmar.
That was after they introduced the duplicator ray or whatever it's called.
Yeah.
And so I thought, did this already take effect, or is this just a bump on the head? Like it was like a little confusing at first.
It's supposed to just be a hallucination, but it does get confusing because of the duplicator ray. Though it does make you wonder. I'm like, well, were they trying to give a continuity explanation as to why there were what seemed like three different Catwomen in this? So who knows? They didn't really explore it that much.
I think it's probably just a quick way to have we have multiple Batmen in this.
Yeah.
We're going to have multiple Catwomen as well.
Exactly.
That's just like a quick kind of throwaway thing.
Yeah, but Lee Merriweather actually does play a role in the next one.
Oh, yeah.
But not as Catwoman, but she does play a role in it. So because Lee Merriweather's still around.
That's incredible.
Yeah, that's also incredible.
So I was at a panel. It was Hall H in San Diego 4 or 5 years ago, and Julie Newmar is there, but she can barely walk.
Oh, geez.
So that's
heartbreaking.
But what was great about it, though, was she had two muscular dudes escort her on stage, and both of them had shirts that said henchman on it.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
so she leaned into it like crazy, and it was pretty cool. It was pretty cool.
She has to.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Yeah.
So
I think she's the one whose voice has kind of aged the most, it feels like, in this movie.
Yeah.
But you kind of have to excuse it because it's like, well, what are you going to do?
You're getting the gang back together. You know what I mean? It's it's pretty cool.
I think so, yeah. So, this animation, as I was telling Andrew before we started recording, I wish there were more of these. I wish there were more adventures in the 66 world. There's a lot of comics that explore the 66 world afterwards that we can kind of get into, where they did their own version of Bane as this luchador type. Yeah. They did their own version of Ra's al Ghul, and they based the drawing off of Christopher Lee as Dracula.
Really?
Yeah.
Man, I have you into that more.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
It sounds really fun.
Yeah, it is. So it's a cool continuation, but I feel as if you can safely say this is kind of like a nice continuity bookend to the 66 show.
Yeah.
The series was canceled and everything, and there's a bit of dispute of okay, should we consider this canon? But I'm just look, Adam West is flat out here with Burt Ward and Julie Newmar. Let's consider this canon, please.
They are straight up down to play still. Yeah. Burt Ward's still playing.
And Burt Ward still sounds great as a teenage Robin.
His real voice does sound like Robin, pretty much. Just that Robin got a little older.
He just never got through puberty. Yeah,
there's something that happens with how not all but many child actors seem to have slightly this is not scientific, but like it seems like a lot of child actors are a little bit shorter than average height as they grow up. Like I look, again, not scientific. Please correct me, but it just kind of feels like you see a lot of examples of this, and it's like, is something happened with like too much stimulus growing up to where you just get stunted, like you become an adult so quick in your mind because of the environment. This is a big tangent. Anyway, also didn't happen to Christian Bale, so I'm blowing smoke up everybody's ass. Anyway, continue, Ben.
But he did decide to change his weight for every damn movie.
Yeah, that's true.
His weight,
yeah, that's true.
That might not have done him many favors for the future, but we'll see.
It's just like Haley Joel Osment's also not that tall.
Yeah.
You know, like there's so...
Edward Furlong looks pretty tiny. Yeah.
Macaulay Culkin is not that tall. You know?
You're right, yeah. There's something to that.
It seems like there's something to this, man.
Must investigate further.
Yeah.
But Burt Ward, yeah, he... I mean, he got bigger this way, but not
wider.
that much this way or much with the voice.
And he loves those dogs.
Yeah. I think he's gonna. He's probably fine. Is finding some way to keep plugging that the dog food that he's got.
Yeah,
with,
that's
like,
cool.
The Robin name and everything.
Something to do in his older age.
Robin will always be out for the dogs. He should have his own Ace the Bat Hound.
Yeah, I know. Really, at this point, yeah.
Let's see. I'm looking at my notes here. Oh yeah, I did love the callback to how useless the GCPD is in the 66 show.
Yeah.
It's like, we can't do anything without Batman. Chief O'Hara is like, yeah, there's a witness, and I don't know how to do my job.
I forgot how much of a thing that was. Like, they really are just completely useless. Huh?
Yeah, it's the weakest Commissioner Gordon ever. He's like, I don't know what to do. Batman, please help me.
The other thing I love about Batman 66 is like everybody's like starts to go to bed at like 8 p.m. It's like there's every operation is during the day. It's like even Batman's like going to beddy by at nighttime. You know what I mean? It's just so opposite from like our generation that saw Batman 89 first.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was just it's kind of funny.
Speaking of 89, we have a great callback to that where Adam West gets to yell, "You want to get nuts?"
I love that.
Let's get nuts.
I think Adam West, of course, don't know. He's not with us anymore. Yeah. But like, I'm sure he loved the fuck out of that.
Oh, I'm sure he did.
You know, saying that line, that's a great line. Like, in his delivery.
He also got to do the whole, this is an operating table and I'm the surgeon, which is from Dark Knight Returns.
Oh, man, I forgot about that.
Says that to Riddler before he punches him.
Yeah.
Which, like, it's still in the 66 vein where, like, he puts on these brass knuckles.
Right.
And Riddler's like, not the face, and then he punches in the face. And there's, like, no damage to their faces at all.
Right.
And they're just crumpled in, and they're just absolutely fine, as opposed to, like, look at what, like, Batfleck does in Batman vs. Superman. So... big contrast in that. But I
hope Reeves is able to fix those transgressions.
Yes, well, we'll see. But Reeves is a big 66 fan.
Okay, yeah.
I think because he on Twitter, he took pictures from that exhibit that we went to.
I know, yeah.
And it's no surprise to me that, guess what? His movie also looks to have Riddler and Catwoman and Penguin in it.
I wouldn't be surprised. I know we keep going back to Reeves speculation, but I wouldn't be surprised if the movie is too light for hardcore Snyder fans.
I would agree with you on that, yeah.
It might be the lightest Batman we've seen in years.
It depends on his take, because I'm just like, I'm sure there's a noirish take to it, but I'm like, we don't know the level there.
Right.
I will say, though, I don't think Pattinson has signed up for an Adam West type of Batman.
That's true. I don't think it'll be that far along, but I don't know. We have no idea.
We don't know.
We love thinking about it.
We're pulling shit out of our asses on this. Return of the Caped Crusaders also has Aunt Harriet sort of...
Yes. I love this.
This is a very meta subplot where it seems like she's trying to get in on the secret of Bruce and Dick, and it seems implied
going out at night together again.
Yes, and having her around just for appearances.
Yes.
So if you guys heard our Batwoman episode, it was we talked about how Aunt Harriet was around just for appearances.
Yes.
For the fact that they wanted to contradict Dr. Wortham's Seduction of the Innocent books that claimed that Batman and Robin were gay, along with Alfred, and so they wanted a maternal female presence in there, along with
the two of them sleep in a bed together. There literally are panels of them in the bed together.
Yes.
So it's like not entirely. It wasn't far off.
Right.
Like
yes.
They would never write that, but it's just like
that.
That visual was there.
I don't think that was adapted into the 66 show.
No, that part wasn't, but
Yeah.
the comics did have that.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, he was reading into it a bit, but not too far.
Yeah.
You know?
So I don't really think this movie is for people like us who are in the know about that stuff,
Right,
who love Batman.
right.
It's not necessarily for kids. Kids could watch it, but there's definitely enough jokes in there for adults like us.
Well, it's like that Batman 66 thing where it's like the kids are watching one thing and the parents are watching another thing.
True,
And it's
yeah.
the same show. That's really one of the most genius things about the 66 show is like, I grew up thinking it was just cool, not as cool as Batman 89, but just cool. I didn't really get the humor until I was older. And I'm sure like our parents and our parents' parents, honestly, because my dad was 10 when this show came out, like probably saw it as a comedy show.
Right, yeah.
So like this is like the same thing, which is really good.
Exactly, yeah. And I think I think Michael Uslan's name is on this, which is
It is, yeah.
On every single Batman media, but it's kind of interesting to have him make peace with the 66 show because he's always been about, for those who don't know, Michael Uslan was the guy who pitched for 10 years how to make a serious Batman movie, and that became Batman 89. And the reason why was because he was driven by the idea that, like, I don't want people to think Batman is the 66 Adam West guy. I want him to be the dark detective from the 1939 era. I want him to be this dark Avenger and everything. So him put his name on this, or at least making peace with this, is kind of a big step, at least for Uslan, I think. And I think it's kind of more accepted now to be like, hey, like,
seems like it to me. Yeah,
you can have a light Batman. It's okay.
We can have a lot of versions all at once.
There's already a shit ton of versions all at once. We were just giving, as of this recording, we just had an Instagram post about Ian Glenn's Batman in Titans, and how, though I do say that his take on it is sometimes a bit like Adam West, a little bit like a serious Adam West. Yeah, there's even an Easter egg in one of the episodes where he does the Batusi, but not like it's like a hallucination version.
Oh,
of him.
okay,
It's not like him in real life.
Like Nightmare Batman in the Titans finale on season 1.
Yeah, so we got Nightmare Batman in the Titans finale in season 1, and then season 2, Nightmare Batman is him doing this as Bruce.
Just choose one, man.
He never shows up in the bat suit, but I don't know. I'm not here to talk about that.
We don't have to go on a tangent for too long, but
yeah.
How cool is Nightwing in that show?
He's
pretty
okay.
Cool. He's okay. He's not great.
He's just okay. Honestly, I think Chris O'Donnell had a better Nightwing suit in Batman and Robin than this kid did in I call him kid, he's my age. This guy did in time, because it's hyped up. It's been hyped up for 2 years, and suddenly he just gets the suit and he has a fight scene, and it's just okay. It doesn't really do
weapons,
much.
Batons? Is that what you call them?
The Eskrima sticks.
Eskrima sticks.
Yeah.
Is that fight any good at all with those sticks?
It's okay. It just doesn't feel like it's earned that build up.
Eskrima is like fucking Indonesian or something. You got to get the raid guys in there.
Well, first off, they don't really explain why it's now Eskrima sticks.
Okay.
I mean, there's like a little Easter egg earlier where like he's fighting with a staff and it breaks in half, but that's about it.
Oh, yeah.
It doesn't lead into like, this is what I need to do.
Right.
There's no explanation behind the name Nightwing.
Okay.
The symbol is supposedly based off of something that's planted earlier. However, by the time he gets the suit, it's implied that the suit was made before he saw that symbol. So now this is a whole continuity. Like, the whole thing's a mess, and I'm just like, this is what happens.
Titans lost it in season 2, huh?
It lost it in season, yeah. Like, it was great. It looked like it had a lot of potential with this, but they wasted Deathstroke's story.
The dude's got the look for sure.
For Deathstroke?
No, I mean him too, but for Nightwing.
Oh yeah, no, I think
it's like fuck. That's fucking Nightwing. Good casting, man.
The casting is good. I mean, I think even though I've ragged on Ian Glenn's Bruce Wayne on Instagram, when I said like flat out he's the worst Bruce Wayne, but he could have been good.
Right.
It's just that the way that he was directed and the way it's written just does not match up to what Bruce was being said in season 1.
Right.
Like he's hardcore. Like, they describe Bruce in season 1 basically as if he was the Batfleck Batman, or more extreme version of the comic book Batman.
Right.
And then you meet him and he's basically like a calm Adam West-esque presence, and I'm like, it
boring.
doesn't really, and he's also really boring to watch, and I'm like, okay, there's no intensity about him, and I'm like, I get that, like, maybe he's a little bit more mature.
Yeah.
I mean, not mature, but like emotionally healthy.
Yeah.
But even Clooney, who didn't seem like he was haunted by the deaths of his parents or anything like that,
right.
Even Clooney at some point
Hold on 1 second.
Yeah.
Alexa, living room light on.
God damn it, Alexa.
Here we go. Sorry, it's on auto timer.
Right, no problem.
All right.
All right. So I'll backtrack a little bit so you can edit.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I get that maybe he got a little healthier in mindset over the years, but that's never really explored or explained. And even George Clooney in Batman and Robin, where it's kind of like, okay, maybe he's gotten over some of the darkness and parents' death. Even he had some elements when he was out of the suit of feeling like, okay, this is still Bruce Wayne.
Okay.
He's, in terms of intelligence, in terms of like, oh, like I'm a control freak over Dick and Barbara in that movie. This one, it's just like he's like a deadbeat dad when it comes to Dick and Jason. He's just not around.
Okay.
Doesn't do anything. So that's why I have him there. I think Ian Glenn's a great actor. He's just miscast in this and misdirected for that. So it's not necessarily his fault. So sorry, Ian Glenn, if you see my Instagram post, but that's
I don't think he cares. The Game of Thrones check is too sweet.
He's living off the money, and he's just like, fuck you, I'm still Batman in the show. So
yeah. He's played Batman. He's Game of Thrones. Like,
yes, he just hasn't been in the suit.
He's doing good. Yeah, that's true.
Hasn't been in the suit. So
he's too old.
Yeah.
All right, back to Return of the Caped
Crusaders. So we love this movie. Check it out on Amazon Prime. But I will leave you this little tease before we go on the break. This is not the first time Adam West has reprised the role of Batman through voice acting after 1966. In fact, he did it for many years, just not in a direct-to-DVD animated thing. So when we get back from the break, we will go over a deep dive into Adam West's career as Batman that has nothing to do with the 66 show.
Hey everybody, it's Andrew. I just wanted to tell you about our friend Israel's retro gaming shop, Retro Co. If you go to retro-ko.com, you'll be able to see all of his retro gaming goodies. If you wanted to get that Sega Saturn hidden gem from back in the day, or if you wanted to get the Famicom disk system that you never got as a kid, or any other type of retro game that you were into, or import game, please go to retroco.com. That's retro-ko.com. And if you use the SuperHouse code Johnson's Ballsack, you'll be able to get a little bit of a discount at checkout. So please, once again, if you could just go to retroco.com. You can also go to facebook.com/retroco with no hyphen. That's RETROKO. You'll be able to find him on Facebook as well. If you were looking for that PlayStation import game that you never got, if you were looking for that Mega Drive game that you never got, or any other kind of retro game, any import game, it could even be European, Israel also curates bundles at RetroCo, and he'll curate that bundle just for you. So please, go check him out. If you put in the code Johnson's Ballsack at checkout, you'll receive a Superhouse discount.
All right, we're back, and we're here to do a deep dive, which is exactly what you guys want to be hearing about.
It's what the people want.
The edutainment part of this portion, this podcast, which is going to be about Adam West's career as Batman, as well as my own little hot take on this, which is that when you think about, a lot of people get asked, who is your favorite Batman, who's the best Batman, and everything. You hear a lot of, obviously, Kevin Conroy's like the biggest, most universal one.
Right.
And I would agree with that. He's probably, unquestionably, that's the voice you hear when you're in the comics. But what if it's only live action only? A lot of people say Michael Keaton. A lot of people say Christian Bale. But to me, maybe he's not my favorite Batman in terms of the portrayal. Yeah. But I still think the greatest live-action Batman is still Adam West.
Okay.
For several reasons. One is that it's a name just like Sean Connery with James Bond, Harrison Ford with Indiana Jones. Like, he's so associated with the character, you can't let go of it. As opposed to some of the other actors where it's just like, oh yeah, and he was also, he also played Batman at one point.
Right.
So there's that. But also he is one of the few Batman, or probably the only Batman, so far as with this recording, to cross over from live action to cartoons, to be so involved against all these other villains. He's the only one to face Joker, Penguin, Catwoman, Riddler, Mr. Freeze.
Oh yeah,
all of these villains, all the other guys.
He's fought the most villains for sure.
Exactly. Out of all the live actions,
I didn't think about that. Yeah.
Yeah. We'll see what happens with Pattinson because they're throwing 3 Rogues Gallery villains right.
Lilac Man. What's his name again?
Louis the Lilac.
Louis the Lilac. Sorry, that one.
And then there's an amazing amount of female villains in the 66 show that they never carried over into the comics. Would you think you would There's even one called Black Widow, funny enough.
Oh, yeah. Right.
But very different from the, Scarlett Johansson type. But yeah, I mean, people give him shit for, a lot of people give Adam West shit for being basically like, oh, he was the light, campy Batman. He was the jokey Batman.
Yeah.
But if you actually watch him, he's not actually that jokey. Like, he's not the one making the jokes. He's still the straight man.
He's in a jokey environment.
He's in a jokey environment, but he's the straight man in the jokey environment, which is true to the character.
I think also one of the biggest things is his voice, his delivery. Like it's so like immediately, like if you've ever heard him once, like you can just pin it again. Like his voice is so recognizable, and as an actor with a brand as popular as Batman, you have a voice that's also as distinguishable as Batman, pretty much.
Right, yeah.
It's like Shatner, too, has got his whole deal, too. Like, and they were around the same time. I think that's same exact years.
Yeah, exactly, which is appropriate when they cast Shatner to be Two-Face in the Batman vs. Two-Face thing. But I remember I was at, I think it was the LA Comic-Con that we went to. I don't know if you were there with me in the audience when it was Kevin Smith interviewing Adam West.
I think I was there.
Yeah, I think I was there with you.
I was so tired of wearing tights. I remember him saying that.
Well, I also remember he was bringing up like his take was that Batman would pause a lot in talking, because he would always be thinking.
That was his reasoning.
His mind would be racing about different things and making all these deductive jumps and all that. And I always appreciated that when he brought that up. So other things people give him crap for, they're just like, oh, he was out of shape in that suit. You can see his belly. I'm just like, if you actually look at some of the old picture of Adam West in the 60s, he was actually a pretty fit dude. The suit just didn't give him any favor. This was a time
before there was like Jim Jones from 300 and like, like that. They didn't really there wasn't a focus on that just yet.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, there was no martial arts at this time. It's a few years before Bruce Lee arrived on the scene.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So Americans were largely unaware of what kicking was.
I mean, yeah, this is right around the time, because remember, West co-starred with Bruce Lee. When Bruce Lee was Kato, Kato came around,
Oh, that's true.
Yeah.
Actually, I take that statement. Yeah.
But
Bruce Lee is definitely in the show.
But he wasn't he wasn't the Bruce Lee that people knew. He was
they didn't have enough time to formulate the fighting for Batman 66 based on largely Eastern martial arts, even though Bruce Lee was on the scene at the time.
Right, yeah.
There wasn't enough incubation period, probably.
There wasn't even the idea of Bruce traveling to Asia to learn martial arts.
Right. This was not a thing in Western thinking, I think, at this time.
No.
Kung Fu, The Legend Continues and all that had not fucking taken a hold of people's imaginations.
10 years away from that, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So it's you have to put that in the time period that we're working with.
Yeah.
But I mean, the suit in itself doesn't exactly it's not going to be flattering on anybody.
Yeah. It's pretty
show anything off.
Yeah.
So even though I count him the greatest Batman, he's not exactly the greatest Batman suit that he's wearing.
Robin's suit was flattering, though. I think you know what I'm talking about. He got called out by the Catholic League.
He did. And also relatively true to the comics. So,
we're talking about his dick.
The last time that we saw Robin with the green panties, the green Speedo.
Burt Ward loves bringing up, I had a big dick. I probably don't need more.
Had, yeah.
I don't know.
Let's see. Other things. The last Batman who was in, but Adam West was the last Batman who was in a cloth suit. Really.
Oh, yeah.
So,
yeah, for sure.
Which you could argue is kind of true to the comics at the time.
It was cloth, right? Not spandex.
I'm pretty sure it was cloth, yeah. And he also had a Robin and a Batgirl. Not a lot of Batmen had a Robin and a Batgirl.
True.
So he encountered all these, and technically, he had a Justice League.
His world was like the most fleshed out, I guess you could say.
It was the most.
Yeah.
And he had an Alfred who actually had a mustache. That was the last time Alfred had a mustache. I forgot to bring that up too.
God damn it.
But his Commissioner Gordon
There's only enough room for one guy with a mustache in this Gotham.
Apparently, since Gordon doesn't have one in this. But I don't know. We'll see if Andy Serkis grows one out. Cause
if he doesn't, I'll be very upset.
Yeah, because it's just like, okay, I get Michael Caine and Jeremy Irons not doing it because like they're somewhat famous actors and how they look like, so like they didn't it might be too much to ask, even though
original Alfred also has a comb over. Original.
Well, original Alfred is fat.
Oh yeah, but after that guy.
Okay, after that guy. You mean the comic book Alfred? Yeah, he's got the comb over and
comb over, right?
Mustache. The
thing is, Serkis is so. I know we keep fucking getting off topic, but Serkis is so stocky. Like it just feels like they're going to do the fucking I was an ex-MI6 blah blah blah. You know,
yeah, he's just gonna be like Sean
I'm Cockney
Pertwee.
Alfred.
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah, which I would have preferred like a Ray Fiennes type with the the balding head and the thin mustache and hello sir type. But we'll see what they
can
do
also
with the
fence like a motherfucker.
Yeah, he could also fence like Alfred, the Alan Napier Alfred used. He was almost doing some sort of fencing thing against Cesar Romero's Joker.
Yeah.
It's a famous scene. It's on YouTube, but he basically kicks Romero's ass. It's one of the few times Alfred could hold his own against Joker.
Right.
Because Romero's Joker wasn't exactly much of a threat, as we can also see in this version. Let's see. And then, of course, Adam West technically fought Two-Face in his final performance in the upcoming for us to cover. Batman
you said he had
Two-Face.
a Justice League, by the way. I got you off track on that.
Yes. So that brings me to the other one. He had more than one Justice League. So in 1979, he reprised the role of Batman with Burt Ward as Robin in the special called Legends of the Superheroes.
Okay.
Which had him with characters like Captain Marvel, which became Shazam, but the DC Captain Marvel, not the Brie Larson type.
Yes.
But it had him with other DC heroes against the Legion of Doom type. So
this is a live action?
This was live action. It's on DC Universe.
Wow.
It's also now, unfortunately, it has the same reputation as the Star Wars Holiday Special.
Oh, it's that bad.
Where it's super bad. I haven't seen it yet. Upcoming deep dive.
Sounds incredible.
But we should probably watch it just to cover it. And to cover our asses. So he not only did that, but he also did voices on the Super Friends. Not the classic Super Friends, but the spin-off later that came out with in 84, Super Friends, the Legendary Superpowers show, and then 85 is when it became Superpowers Team Galactic Guardians. These are all on DC Universe as well, by the way.
These are like cartoons in the 70s, like after the show was off the air?
The 80s, actually.
Oh, 80s. Yeah. So, gotcha. This is, I feel like the 80s were definitely the doldrums for 66 Batman.
Yeah, but he was still doing it.
He's still, I mean, why wouldn't he?
Yeah, 60s, he's playing him in live action. Then 74, I forgot about this. Yeah, no, sorry. 77, he starts voicing Batman in the New Adventures of Batman. It's an animated show of Burt Ward. And then 2 years later, he goes back to live action with Burt Ward for Legend of the Superheroes.
Did he voice him in Scooby-Doo? When
Batman
that was
shows up in
Scooby-Doo?
That was okay. I think that was Owen Soul. I might be.
That's a whole other deep dive. Batman Scooby-Doo, man.
Yeah.
We're not going to. Never ends.
We're going to be done talking about Batman when we're dead. And let's see. He came back for the Super Friends show in 84 and 85.
Okay.
So this is already 3 decades in.
Okay.
He's still playing this character. And what's notable about the Superpowers Team Galactic Guardians is that there was an episode called The Fear. And Scarecrow douses him with fear gas, and Batman goes down Crime Alley, and he remembers the death of his parents.
This is the first time this happened in anything other than the comics?
This is the first time this happened in anything in the comics, as well as the first time that any Batman adaptation showed the deaths of Thomas and Martha Wayne.
Oh, okay, yeah.
The deaths that were tired
they
of seeing.
They mention it in the 66 show. They actually do talk about it.
He says it in the beginning, in the first episode. He's my parents were murdered, years ago, but that's about it.
Right,
in a show that doesn't really show a lot of murders or killing or anything.
Yeah, it's a bit too dark for that show, but at least it gets a mention.
Yeah. And it's tough to buy, any sort of version of Batman whose parents weren't murdered. Like, why else would you do that? So at least it's a vital part that they kept in there. You could also say he was the only Batman who said dialogue written by Bill Finger, because Bill Finger wrote episodes.
That's true.
For the 66
That's
show.
True.
Let's see. So Superpowers Galactic Guardians is also the creation of that meme that you might see where Batman's crying in the rain.
Oh, yeah.
That's from the episode The Fear. And he's in the context of the episode, he's crying because of reliving the deaths of his parents.
Oh, okay.
So that's definitely a powerful sort of take, because of the fact that West this was kind of the evolution of West. He wasn't just playing the 66 Batman anymore.
Okay.
He was playing a Justice League Batman. He was playing a more serious take. So we're seeing a lot of variety in performances here. And then years later, so I guess we can skip the 90s, though he did show up as the Gray Ghost
that's true. That's the big one.
In the animated series. But in 2005, this art school sort of designs a Lego type looking Batman short.
Okay.
And they call it Batman New Times, and they somehow are able to bring in these big time actors to do this. So they bring in Adam West to voice Batman to go up against Mark Hamill's Joker. And they also somehow get Dick Van Dyke to be Commissioner Gordon.
Okay.
This is an incredible cast for a fan film, but it's arguably the greatest Batman fan film ever. Because it's animated, so it doesn't look like it's super cheap like a lot of fan films out there.
It's
where
a Lego one?
And it looks like Lego. I don't think it's officially Lego, but he looks like Lego. It's got Batman, Robin, Catwoman, Harley, Joker, and it's like only 8 minutes long.
Is it like a CG or is it?
Yeah, it's like a CG animated
gotcha.
thing, but it's arguably the greatest fan film because of the fact that it's got that much of a talented cast. And the animation is great for what it is. And you can check it out on YouTube. We could watch it, for future episodes.
Yeah.
And everything. But that's, again, another Adam West as a serious Batman.
Okay.
It's not a 60s take. So he's played a light Batman. He's played a dark Batman. He's played, he's played the live action, the animated cartoon, and all these different cartoons. He's been part of the Justice League in both live action and cartoon. This is why I have to crown him the greatest Batman, because of the fact that he's been Batman in all these different iterations. It's just a lot of times people just associate him solely with the 66 show, but he's been in so much other stuff.
He plays pretty much the Shadow and the Gray Ghost who influenced Batman.
Yes, he's pretty much the Shadow.
Yeah.
But he's Simon Trent. He also was the mayor in the Batman show, the animated show where they did a spin-off of the Batman vs. Dracula.
Okay.
So he was the mayor in that. And then he was finally getting to voice Thomas Wayne in The Brave and the Bold.
Okay.
With Julie Newmar as Martha Wayne.
Oh, shit.
So that was definitely a hell of a get for them.
Yeah, that's cool.
And then later on in that show, Bruce makes a Batman robot to help him out. And that robot is voiced by Adam West.
Oh, shit.
As well.
Okay.
So this guy, I think around the 80s and 90s or so is probably when West was just like, I'm sick of this character.
Right.
And he sort of, in his later years, rekindled his love for this character. Which I get it. Because it kind of went from I'm an actor, I'm supposed to play all these other different parts.
Right.
Everyone wants me to play this fucking stupid superhero. And then later I was just like, you know what? I'm getting old.
Yeah. It's the only thing that's bringing any money in. Probably.
Yeah, and also it brings people joy, and it's the only main thing that people remember his name from. So I think that changed his perspective on it. But I mean, the other thing is that there's a documentary, I think a PBS documentary, where they had Adam West do dialogue from the comics as part of it.
That's cool.
And you can find some clips on this on YouTube. He does the whole criminals are superstitious cowardly lot.
Oh, shit, that's cool.
And then, and this is really cool, he does one of the passages from The Dark Knight Returns.
Oh, shit.
Where he's like, you know who I am, punk.
Yeah.
And it does make me think, and there's a whole other hot take, the Batman in The Dark Knight Returns, I've always seen it as, a lot of people are just like, well, The Dark Knight Returns, that's like an alternate future.
Right.
So you guys got to keep in mind, though, The Dark Knight Returns is clearly set in the 80s.
Right.
There's Reagan as president.
Right.
There's a Cold War going on. You can't just put all that and say like, okay, I guess that's a future 2045, because I'm like, it's not super relevant anymore.
Right.
And it was written because Frank Miller didn't want to feel like he was older than Batman.
Yeah.
So he made Batman old, which means it lines up that the Batman that's supposed to be in The Dark Knight Returns is the Adam West style, Super Friends style Batman who's grown darker. There's a lot of stuff that
it's a hell of a turn.
Well, yeah, but there's a lot of stuff that lines up with it. The Dark Knight Returns has more impact if it's a lighter Batman who becomes dark, as opposed to a darker Batman who gets darker. It has more impact when it's a guy who used to be super friends with Superman and everything, and then has to fight him, as opposed to a guy who's always been in conflict with him since day one, and then has to fight him. It's a lot more dramatic that way. There's some other timeline stuff that just kind of lines up more. I think let's see, him seeing the Mark of Zorro by Tyrone Power is established in The Dark Knight Returns.
Okay.
But also timeline-wise, the only way that would work is that Batman saw it in 1940 when that came out when he was a little kid, which means that by the time he donned the suit, you're right in the 60s.
Okay.
So all this timeline shit matches up. And him...
This is Grant Morrison. It's all canon.
Yeah, this is me being Grant Morrison on this.
Yeah.
But and if we get if we match those ages, that means that in the 80s, he's in his mid-50s, which, again, is exactly his age in The Dark Knight Returns.
Right.
So it is great for me to hear Adam West do the dialogue from The Dark Knight Returns because he seems like he's supposed to be the Batman from The Dark Knight Returns.
Right.
Even though, you would never see... They didn't cast him into The Dark Knight Returns cartoon because I think that would take people out of it, but that is kind of how it would be, and it does make things feel more dramatic that way, in my opinion. So that's my hot take. The Dark Knight Returns and
does he say, "I want you to feel this hand at your throat" or whatever?
No, he does the one with where he's taking one of the mutants hostage, and he's got the hand over him, and he's like, "Do you, you're not in any position to negotiate." And then he takes the hand away, and the guy realizes he's like 50 stories up, and he could fall at any point, and the guy screams.
Okay,
so. It would be amazing, though, to hear the rest of it, but unfortunately, Adam West is not with us anymore to do a full reading of this.
Yeah, that's sad, but he did have a good run.
Yeah, he was in his 80s or so, it makes sense that it happened. But I mean, I think he always wanted to show up as like as a cameo or something in the live action stuff.
Yeah.
But I just feel like it would have been really appropriate in the Schumacher era.
Yeah.
Like that would have fit perfectly in Batman and Robin.
Right.
And the other, like Nolan movies, I'm like, fuck no. Like I don't.
Yeah, it'd be weird.
That would take people out. His last performance, I think, ever was on Powerless. You remember this?
I never saw Powerless.
Yeah, but it was DC's attempt to get into comedy. It was not that great.
I heard it was bad.
It was pretty bad.
Yeah.
He played a Wayne Enterprises executive at one point who like tells them that like you guys might be out of your jobs and everything. So it was nice like way to acknowledge it. I kind of wish
that's his last role.
Yeah, I wish that he played like a member of the Wayne family.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like one of Bruce's many uncles or something.
A lot of famous actors' last roles like kind of like a whimper. Like
well, you never know what that's gonna be.
People always mention Raul Julia playing M. Bison in Street Fighter, and then another one, Orson Welles, I believe, was the voice of Unicron.
He was, yeah.
And I think that was his last one.
By
By the way,
yeah.
Great performance though.
Yeah.
Like fucking awesome voice acting, but I mean it's Orson Welles and his last thing was Transformers. I love Transformers, but it's like
Citizen Kane to Transformers the movie.
Yeah, to Unicron. It's like, all right. It's just kind of like, okay, that's just what happens.
You
it's
just
don't, a timeline.
Yeah, you don't know when you're going to go.
Yeah.
Type of thing. So it's great that he did get to have work. And of course, he still had Family Guy too. Let's not forget that. Like, it's not like Batman was the only thing. I think I've heard a story where the way that they got him was Seth MacFarlane told him that we will deliberately not do Batman references.
Oh, really? Yeah.
I think they only did like one.
Okay.
Where he's like in the bat suit and he's doing the thing and he's just like, they turned the camera upside down. That's how we did it. And then that's it. But there's not a lot of acknowledgement of it, which is cool because he appreciated that.
Because his voice is like, his delivery in that show is goofy enough.
Oh yeah.
So it does fit, and obviously Seth MacFarlane seems to be the kind of guy that grew up just watching TV constantly.
Oh, yeah.
Like, yeah.
Family Guy is full of just pop culture references.
Yeah,
there, and that's about it.
Sometimes. The way the music stingers are in that show are very much like the music bumpers or whatever are so like from a time before.
Yeah.
Like old school TV, coming back from commercial break, music bumpers.
Yeah.
Even stuff like that, it's just like,
it gets to the point where people are like more familiar with the Family Guy spoof on it before they see the original.
It's just a generation thing. Some of that shit is so old at this point, man. Like, fucking
I'm
those
just like
60s and 70s sitcoms. Like, I used to watch them on Nick at Night in the 90s, and they were old then.
Yeah, like how are we supposed to know? But like whatever. Seth MacFarlane's laughing his way to the bank with all this shit. But it's
he was scheduled to be on the 9/11 plane.
Really? I didn't hear about that.
Apparently, I could be wrong about that, but from what I heard, he had to change his flight.
That's fucking...
Yeah.
That's some higher power level shit.
Yeah, somebody wanted that atheist motherfucker to live.
Exactly. Like, we want more Family Guy and American Dad and the
Cosmos.
And what?
He is a noted atheist celebrity and wants to spread science.
So
I think it's awesome. Cosmos? He was the guy that got Cosmos back.
Oh, I didn't know that either.
Yeah. Seth MacFarlane was very much into it, and it had a hard time getting back on the air.
Gotcha.
Because they're like, you want to make a long form documentary for Fox? Like, and then
Well,
Seth
somebody wanted another
MacFarlane,
animated comedy.
Seth MacFarlane swings his Family Guy dick, and it's like it was done.
Yeah, because he brings in the viewers who are like, what else is on Fox?
I mean, not much anymore.
Yeah, I know.
Used to be the
That's
shit.
not MacFarlane. Yeah,
Fox was like the cool channel back in the day. You had X-Files, you had Simpsons, Family Guy a little bit.
yeah. Now everybody.
You had the
on
fucking
this TV
X-Men
thing.
cartoon, fucking all that shit, man. It was awesome.
Yeah, nobody's got any good cartoons these days, anyway.
Netflix
It's around.
probably some shit here and there.
Yeah, I guess so.
Rick and Morty.
Oh yeah, but that's no broadcast network.
Oh
type
yeah,
stuff.
yeah, no.
I mean, you
That
basically just
shit's
got-
dead.
Yeah.
That shit's fucking dead.
Yeah, unless you're already like 20 seasons in,
Saturday morning cartoons, kids can turn it on fucking YouTube anytime.
pretty much,
And Netflix.
and rewatch that stuff. Yeah,
This has been Old Man Corner at on.
I mean, we are talking about
Superhouse.
Adam West. So,
That's true. That's true.
it comes
This is
with
way
the
before our
territory.
time. It's literally our parents' time.
Yeah, are there any clever 66 style callbacks that you'd like to see that you think could work in like a new context?
In a new context, like in the
Yeah.
Reeves.
Yeah, like anything from the 66 show that you think like could be reimagined, be like, oh wait, like that's a call to the 66 show, but it fits our world type of thing. Because I've always liked seeing that type of stuff.
I think any kind of spray in the utility belt. It doesn't have to be anti-shark spray or whatever. But I think definitely like there's room in the utility belt for some sort of spray for detective work or whatever. Use that. And honestly, just making the utility belt seem real. Like it's like in that show, it's fine because it's a farce.
Right.
Like it just brings out whatever. But like it kind of feels like in a lot of the live action adaptations, you're like it's just like it'd be kind of cool to know what's in the belt. So whenever a fight scene happens, you can kind of, he's going to use that? Is he going to use that? You know what I mean? Like, I don't know.
Yeah, I'd like it to be limited in terms of its uses.
Yeah.
So that you know that he doesn't have something for everything.
Yeah.
I mean, preferably he's thought of it, but like whatever situation he lands into, it's like, okay, there's no possible way he could have figured this thing out, and he still has to use his brain to get out of this type of thing.
Right.
That's another thing I should bring up. Adam West was the biggest Batman escape artist.
Oh, right.
Because,
Yeah.
we forget sometimes the escape artistry is one of the big Batman traits.
The Houdini thing.
The Houdini style
Yeah.
stuff that he, was eventually revealed that he learned from Zatara.
Right.
So,
which is also Houdini. It all comes back to that kind of stuff.
Exactly. But the death traps and everything, so much of that is Adam West escaping from that.
Right.
And of course, you could say he was the smartest Batman in terms of figuring out these ridiculous clues.
Although the first episode, it's Robin figuring out everything.
Yeah.
In the 66 show. It's a Riddler episode, right?
Yeah, it was the Riddler in the beginning.
Yeah.
And it was the best way to show off, I guess, the mind.
I got a question
Batman.
for you.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming our dads are somewhat around the same age.
My dad's like in his 70s.
Oh, your dad's older. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So he was probably 20-something whenever the show was out.
Yeah.
Okay, I gotcha. So you don't have any connection like that with your dad? Like your dad didn't watch it when he was young?
I don't think he did. I think he
Okay.
was busy with other things going on.
Okay. Trying to go to college and shit.
But your dad has a connection to 66.
My dad is, he loved that show because he was like, he was born in 57, so he's 66, so 9. Yeah, he was 9 when the show came out. He was the perfect age, man. My God. So and to this day, he says like, Christian Bale's a wimp compared to Adam West. Adam West could beat all their asses. He says shit like that.
If you see the 66 show, just how uber competent West version is, you're kind of like, I can see what he means by that. Like, yeah, he doesn't know, I don't know, Kesey, that's the style. Kesey, yeah.
For Nolan's,
yeah,
yes.
Nolan's stuff, but like, for the time.
British Krav Maga, that's what Kesey is.
Oh, really? Okay.
It's kind of what it is.
Yeah, makes sense. I always kind of wondered. I'm just like, I don't know if that was necessarily the best one because it just seemed very close quarter stuff, and it was kind of hard to. It's not as fantastic to watch in like wide shot choreographed fights as like the warehouse scene in Batman vs Superman, which is still like the greatest Batman fight scene ever.
Yeah, we could talk about that. We've talked about that before. We can talk about that again. But yes, for sure. Yeah, like. Nolan, he made the best Batman movies pretty much, but the fight scenes, you look back on them and they're like, could have been better. A lot of it could have been better.
Exactly.
That Kesey thing was probably not the best decision. I think that like a stunt guy, I don't know, but it just seems like a stunt guy was like, I think this is a good idea, Nolan. It's also British. Okay.
Okay, let's do that.
Yeah.
Rather than thinking like what, because he's supposed to be learning ninjutsu.
Yeah,
right.
I know.
In this, so I don't think he was actually using it. I mean, you've studied ninjutsu, right?
I'm not going to talk about
All
that.
right, well, you can't talk about that. See, that's a good test. That's a good test to see. But like, I don't think he's displaying anything from that. From what I've heard about it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The Nolan trilogy does not like. It doesn't.
Preview for a deep dive, by the way.
Yeah, the fights the fight scenes in Nolan are like, I don't know. Long story short, could have been better.
Could have been better. I mean, yeah, I know it's ironic we're saying this when we've just wrapped up watching Adam West stuff, where the fight scenes are literally just.
That's so its own thing, though. You know, like.
Yeah, again, we got to put that in the context of it.
Does Batman 66 ever kick?
That's a good point.
Because like
it's
I feel like
pow.
I feel like until Eastern martial arts took over, I don't think kicking was like that big of a deal.
He might have done like a couple thrust kicks every now and then.
That's like kicking out a door maybe or something like that. But like, it's
yeah,
just not a big part of Western fighting.
I can see him like a thug's running out of him and just like thrust kicks him back, back for a bit. But I don't see him like kicking a guy in the head,
right?
Or anything,
right.
Or in the maybe in the crotch. At some point.
Maybe.
Or I can see Robin do that. I don't know. We'll have to... When we get to the 66 movie, we can see. Because obviously this is animated, so it's not like West got to actually do anything.
Right. Maybe Bruce Lee helped him out.
Maybe he did. So, yeah, that's another interesting thing. West had all these crossovers with different heroes. Not just the Justice League, but also Green Hornet. So that's the only continuity.
That's honestly, pretty epic.
So, yeah, he did have a pretty epic Batman career that a lot of people... I don't think really appreciate or know about until they learn about all this stuff. So a lot of this is on DC Universe if you guys have it, and check it out. But definitely check out The Fear, which is that Galactic Guardians episode. But it's all classified under Super Friends.
Okay.
As the last season of it. So
hidden gems in DCU.
Indeed, yeah. That's why I want to keep that up, even if I'm not necessarily the biggest fan of the
Super
latest
Friends.
Well, not necessarily Super Friends, but of their latest output with the new Titans season.
Oh yeah.
I also watched the new Harley Quinn today.
Is that good?
I don't know, honestly. Like I'm just I didn't know how to feel about it. I'm just like it's kind of funny, but also kind of crazy and kind of like weird. I'm like, I guess there's a place for this, but
it's like a totally new take. We'll talk about that next time. We're pretty much wrapped up here.
Pretty much wrapped up here, but check out Return of the Caped Crusaders if you're an Adam West fan, as well as all his other work for the that is post 66. I am Ben One Writer on Instagram, and I also curate the Superhouse Instagram at SuperHousePod. And shout out to Cookie Gnomes for giving us that shout out on Instagram.
Yes, the continuing shout outs.
Yes, indeed.
And also Alicia, and also Matt Herring, why not? And also Shasta, please join the Shasta Army. And I am forgetting my name, ThunderWolfDrew on Instagram and Twitter. It's been a while, guys. And
it's been a long time.
And we're Superhouse Pod on all the social media, pretty much. If you search for us, search for Superhouse Pod on social media, you'll find us. Mm-hmm. We're of course on Spotify, and please leave a review in iTunes. That really helps out our visibility. Is the iTunes reviews, believe it or not. And I think that's pretty much it.
That is it.
We're going to be going over training next time.
We may be going over training next
may or
time.
may not.
We'll see. But yeah, I'd say what we teased earlier about doing a Grant Morrison style, everything is canon, all the million mentors that Bruce took over several years and unrealistically was able to have the time to do all that type of stuff. We'll cover that next time.
Catch it on the flip-flop. Andrew signing off.
Ben signing off.